Like what we do? Consider supporting the channel by becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the description below. And as always, please enjoy the story.
Holding the takeaway paper bag between his teeth and the 2 lattes he purchased in his hands, Ross kicks the motel door open with his feet. As he re-enters the room, his face is flushed with the biggest grin. He's so pleased for himself. "Becca!" he calls out, but his voice is muffled by the bag hanging from his teeth. He looks around the empty room to see that the sheets are still missing from the bed. The clothes that he had pulled out are still strewn around the room, and Becca is nowhere to be seen. Placing the breakfast onto the table, he takes a quick sip of his latte. He softly huffs, as he has to brush long blonde hair from his face as he does. "Becca," he calls out again, placing his latte onto the counter. "Where are you?" Seeing the bathroom light is on, Ross sneaks up to the door. He's anxious to see what sort of mood Becca is in, seeing as she had been rightly distressed earlier. "Hey," he says delicately, poking his head in. "You won't guess what just happened to me." Standing in the doorway, he sees her standing in front of the bathroom mirror. Becca jumps in fright and quickly frowns at Ross's sudden appearance. "What?" she impolitely grumbles, quickly turning to look away. Ross looks Becca up and down. She's wearing some baggy shorts and an oversized baggy t-shirt. This is something Becca would usually never be seen wearing. Still, he was desperate to share his news. "Get this," he says, grinning wide and flicking his hair. "That barista that served me? I think he thought I was cute. At first I was so nervous, but when he gave me a free coffee, I was so flattered by it." "Good for you," she says disrespectfully in reply. Knowing she's clearly still in a lousy mood, Ross is a little disheartened by her reaction. He just stares suspiciously at the clothing that she's got on. That's when he realizes that they are his clothes. He instantly narked off because she told him that she hadn't packed any. "Wait a minute," Ross says, stepping forward to touch the baggy t-shirt hanging from her body. "Is this mine from home?" Becca turns to face him, and her face goes bright red. "Yeah, and?" She boorishly huffs, annoyed that he'd noticed. Ross scratches his head and adjusts his top. He scrunches his face and looks at her in pure confusion. "You told me you hadn't packed any of my stuff. I've been dressing in your stuff, and now you're telling me I didn't have to? Why?" Becca looks up and her face is now even brighter red than before. However, she's got a face like thunder. "You could have just looked yourself," she irritably growls. "I'm not your mom, Ross." Stunned by her touchy reply, Ross steps a single step back away from her. "Don't you get annoyed at me, Rebecca," he swiftly replies. "I am just a little frustrated that you lied to me about it." Becca furrows her eyebrows and closes the gap between them with a single step. "Oh, I'm sorry," she sarcastically answers. "Poor old Ross had to wear a bra and a skirt. I feel so bad for you. How will you ever cope?" "What is that supposed to mean?" Ross instantly replies. "Oh, shut up! I don't want to talk about this right now." "What did you mean by that?" Uncomfortable with the situation, Becca looks to move around Ross to leave the bathroom. Not allowing her to go past him, he continues to block the exit. "No, come on, Becca," Ross demands. "Tell me what you meant by that." Becca grunts in frustration and pushes him directly in the chest with both hands. Ross stands firm, but some hair falls in front of his face. "Tell me," he says tenderly, brushing the hair from his eyes. Becca stares at him in anger, but tears of sadness form behind her eyes. She sniffles and wipes at her face with her forearm. "You're the one with the gender issues," she yells out. "Not me." A shiver runs down Ross's spine as those words echo in his mind. "I don't have gender issues," he's quick to respond. Becca sarcastically laughs, then wipes more tears from her eyes. "Whatever," she answers with a sharp tongue. "Now you've gone and given those issues to me somehow. This is all your fault." Ross's eyes grow wide with disbelief. "How is this my fault?" he answers, raising his voice to show innocence. "I don't know," Becca yells, turning away. "How else would you explain this crap that keeps happening to my body?" As Becca looks away, Ross is again left wondering if something else has happened to upset her. Letting out a long sigh, Ross gently touches Becca on the shoulder. At first, she shrugs him off, but after the second attempt, she turns to face him with tears streaming down her face. "Becca," he says lightly, feeling worried. "Has anything else happened to you since I've been getting breakfast?" Looking him directly in the eyes, Ross can see how red they are and how upset she really is. Glancing down at her body, she looks back up at Ross in fear and instantly bursts into tears. "Can you not tell?" she cries, tears now gushing down her cheeks towards her chin. Ross gazes at her in confusion. Other than the fact that she's wearing one of his t-shirts, he doesn't see much of a difference. "I don't understand, Becca," he says. "Other than the clothes you wear, you look the same." Becca bites her lips and looks away towards the corner of the room. "Ross," she sighs. "For someone who wants to be a woman, you're such an idiot guy." Ross's face becomes stern, and he's left bewildered. "My chest, Ross," Becca continues, plucking at her oversized t-shirt. "Look at my chest! Or lack of." "Huh?" Ross says, gawking at her chest. "You still can't see it, can you?" Becca complains. "I suppose I should take solace in that." "I don't see what?" Ross asks, gently smiling at her. "You still look like my beautiful girlfriend." "They're gone, Ross," she replies with a sour tone. "They just withered away before my eyes." "Are you serious?" he questions in panic. "I couldn't tell with you in my shirt like that." Becca drops her head in shame. Her long brunette hair cascades down and covers her face. "I went to put on my bra," she whimpers. Then, like that, there was no longer any need to put one on. "You don't need to hide your body, Becca," Ross says, trying to comfort her. Yes, I do. My body is disgusting." Ross nervously laughs and tries to comfort her with a hug. Becca quickly pushes him away and folds her arms tight. "I need coffee," Becca states, pointing into the other room. Ross gladly moves aside and lets her pass him. He watches her walk awkwardly over to the table where he placed the coffees, clearly not used to those extra items she's carrying in her shorts. Ross then ambles over and stands next to her. Unwrapping her breakfast muffin, Ross passes it to her in an offering of peace between them. "We'll get there as soon as we can," he says, giving her a warm smile. "We will get this all sorted." Becca looks at him with a sour expression. Then swiping the muffin from his hands, she takes a huge bite and follows it with a big swig of coffee. "We better," Becca replies with her mouth full. "I don't want to get cursed any further. I want to get going as soon as we've eaten." Ross looks around at the clothes strewn around the place. "Maybe I should pack up so we can get ready to go as soon as you're done." He nervously laughs. "Yeah, you should," she replies, still chewing on her breakfast muffin. Moving over to the pile of clothes on the floor, he reaches down and grabs a bundle. Moving it over to the bed, he stuffs it back into the suitcase. Tucking his long hair behind his ear, he bends down to pick up another load. "I do like you in that skirt," Becca says casually, taking a sip of her coffee. "Really suits you. Good choice." Standing up straight with clothes in hand, Ross gives her a small smile. He's a little surprised that she's mad one minute and then complimenting him the next. "Thanks," he says cautiously, stuffing more into the suitcase. "I'm much more comfortable like this, and I like how airy it is." Becca grins and then looks down at his feet. "I wouldn't have chosen those flats, though," she says. "You should try those high heels I packed." Ross looks down at the plain flats that he has on his feet. Then he looks up and sees Becca pointing at the heels on the floor next to him. "Yeah?" he uneasily questions, picking up the black pointed heels. "I don't know. I'm kind of scared to wear these." "Try them on," Becca commands. "Trust me, it will make you look much more feminine." Sitting on the motel bed, Ross flicks off the flats and gradually slides his feet into Becca's high heels. She's made him wear these before, but he wasn't much good at wearing them. "There you go," Becca laughs, watching him slide the heels onto his feet. "Just be careful in them with all of these clothes on the floor. I wouldn't want you hurting yourself." Ross gives her an awkward nod before carefully standing up in the heels. The extra height and lack of stability makes him wobble as he stands on the spot. "What do you think?" he asks, standing precariously beside the bed. Becca audibly gasps. She's shocked, and her reaction makes Ross extremely nervous. "What?" he exclaims, worried at her reaction. "It just moved," Becca squeals, looking down at herself. "I look at you in that outfit and those heels, and it grew."